to my YouTube channel. That is Tariq Radio on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to it already, ladies and gentlemen, that is my YouTube channel, Tariq Radio on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to my channel, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, let's get everybody in here. We got to chop it up. What's up, Lioness? I see you, beloved. I see you, dear. What's up, Juicy Genius? What's up, brother Adonis? I see you, sir. So, what we're talking about today, family, we're talking about why guarding your culture is so important. Family, as we see, and I talked about this on yesterday's address, um, right now, there is a very deliberate effort coming from the dominant society, particularly a lot of white left wingers, white liberals. There's this effort now to tether on all of these other groups to foundational Black American culture. I mean, they're going hard body at it right now. They're going hard right now. And it's coming real fast. They've been gradually doing it. Now it's just full throttle right now. And there's this desperate attempt to latch on Latinos to Black culture. Now, we were talking about how this relates to the hip hop thing. We're talking about the origin of hip hop and all that. And there's some people who are trying to minimize that. Like, hey, there was some people hopping in the chats yesterday. Well, this is a waste of time. We need to talk about reparations. And family, listen to me. Do y'all understand that this hip hop conversation and the erasure of our culture all ties into reparations? Do y'all realize that? This hip hop conversation and the origins of hip hop, all of this ties into reparations, ladies and gentlemen. It all ties in, it is all relative. See, we have to start thinking like chess players. These people are playing a massive chess game with us. This is extremely relative to the reparations. How so? When the dominant society gets these groups and try to make them comparable to us, that's a problem and that's a red flag. That's what they were doing with Asians for a long time. They kept with this narrative that Asians, their struggle is comparative to the Black struggle. They were doing that for a long time. Well, Black people were enslaved and the Asians built the railroads. And they suffered while they built the railroads. Black people faced Jim Crow, and Asian people felt they experienced Asian discrimination, anti-Asian discrimination. So that for a long time they kept making these correlations. So now all of a sudden, as we saw in the last couple of years, well, we got to give a hate crime bill for Asians. Asians are being harmed just like Black people. So let's prioritize Asians. So let's give them protections and let's give them compensation. And we're sitting here looking like, well, damn, what about us? But hey, come on. You guys said that you were like the Asians. You guys have been supporting the Asians, saying that you guys are comparable. So let's prioritize them since you prioritize them over yourself. You see? We got to stop letting these folks play this chess game on us where we prioritize this Black, brown, and minority and people of color coalition. We prioritize that, and then they get the alley hoop from us. They like, oh, cool. Since y'all made them people a priority, we're going to make them a priority too, and we're going to compensate them and give them all types of protections. So recently, when the Black folks in Buffalo got shot up, and then a couple of days later, there was an Asian on Asian shooting out here in California. What did the country do? What did the White House do? Let's bring some Asians up here to the White House so we can talk about these heinous hate crimes towards them, and we can talk about more crime bills that will help them. Nothing about the Black people up in Buffalo who got massacred by that white supremacist. You see what I'm saying? When we sit up here and allow them to make other groups comparable to us, that's a trick bag, and that's going to lead to those groups being prioritized based on our struggle. We're piggybacking these groups. We let them piggyback off of us, and then they get prioritized. They're doing that now with Latinos. There's a reason why they keep talking about getting a Latino section in the African American History Museum. There's a reason why they had J Lo, out of all people, singing the Motown tribute, and Negroes goofy as hell. Smokey Robinson, and I like Smokey, but y'all co-signing that nonsense. The grassroots was like, "Hey, J Lo singing Motown hits, there," and these Negroes in the industry who are scared to rock the boat, they got to go along to get along. They can't really say nothing, or they won't get invited to the next Grammy meeting or whatever. So they got to sit there and co-sign it like buffoons. Well, yeah, them J Lo can sing it. We all in this together. We all black and brown. We can. It's okay if J Lo go out there and sing "Respect" with her struggle vocals. It's okay. No, it ain't okay. They don't let us go to their award shows. When do they let foundational Black Americans who are non-Spanish go kick it at the Latin Grammys or the Latin Music Awards? When they let us do that? Other people know how to guard their culture. Beyonce, one of the biggest stars in the world, she did a country song. The country music industry said, "Nah, we ain't letting you get that. We ain't giving you an award for that." She had a song called Daddy Issues or something with the Dixie Chicks, I think, one of those groups. But Beyonce had a hot country song, and they were like, "Nah, we're not letting you get any accolades and awards. We're not going to even allow that to be nominated for a country Grammy. No, no, no. All those other Grammys you can get, but we're not going to let you um, interfere in our culture that we stole from you. We took country music from you Negroes a long time ago, so now it's ours, and we're going to gatekeep it." They're not. They're shameless as far as gatekeeping things that they've co-opted. You understand, black folks? We sit here, and because and I get on a lot of the black hip hop artists now. And I just saw a video with Grandmaster Caz. He was backpedaling. Somebody didn't got to him. He was kind of backpedaling. Said, "Oh, I put my foot in my mouth about when I was on Vlad." No, they got my brother backpedaling because now, like I said the other day, a lot of these cats, these old school hip hop artists, they have to sell the package of universal love for hip hop. It's an all lives matter culture because that's who's going to those hip hop conventions. Those old school hip hop conventions where they get these brothers and sisters from the back in the day and parade them around and let them break dance and let them rhyme. These are mostly non-black people who put these things together, and non-black people who attend these things. So they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to get out here and really, really, really tell the truth that none of these groups were around in the early stages of hip hop. Let's be very clear. This whole thing about Latinos being, they know good and well there were no damn Latinos around in the early days of hip hop. They know it. Everybody knows it. That's why when we're pressing them on showing proof, they get to backpedaling and explaining. They know good and damn well there were no Latinos in the early stages of hip hop, and the ones that came later didn't contribute anything. They didn't contribute anything new. These are just facts. And it's really going to be up to the grassroots to stop this, because when they sit here and let these other groups latch onto our culture, the name of the game is to erase us from the culture. That's what this is all about. It's about erasing us. They're going to do with hip hop what they did with rock and roll. They co opted rock and roll, and now it's a white thing. And now when black people do rock and roll, classical rock and roll, they make it seem like we're guests in a culture that we created. And see, we got to stop this thing where we create these cultures and we go through all the bumps and the bruises to make these cultures and genres popular and acceptable. And then when it becomes acceptable to the mainstream, everybody wants to co opt it. Let's go back to jazz. There was some people talking about today on Twitter. There was a thread talking about all the articles when jazz first came out. They were blaming jazz music for everything negative in society because jazz was associated with black people. They were blaming jazz for drug use. They were blaming jazz for promiscuity. They were blaming jazz for warts on your feet because of the dancing. I mean, literally, I'm not even exaggerating. They were blaming everything on jazz. Jazz was a code word for black people. So black people had to take all of that negative energy and that negative press and endure it and make jazz something that was hip and mainstream. And now we got Kenny G and all of these other people. You see, even with rock and roll. Rock and roll was looked at as negative. It was looked at as negative nigger music. You understand? Even when Elvis started doing it after he stole his swag from a black man named Roy Hamilton. I want y'all to look up Roy Hamilton. I think there's a video of Roy Hamilton, unknown R&B singer. Don't nobody even know who he is. That's where Elvis got his swag from. Elvis took that man's whole swag, the sound of voice, everything. And nobody's ever heard of Roy Hamilton. The brother died in 1969, obscure. Nobody knows who he is. And Elvis got all of his swag from this guy. And again, when Elvis started doing rock and roll, they were like, what are you doing this nigga music for? This is nigga music, Elvis. What are you doing? You sound like a jigaboo. No. I'm gonna put my own spin on it. And black folks in the 1940s and 50s making rock and roll mainstream, making it hot, enduring all of the negative press, enduring all of the negative connotations, going to jail. Remember, there was a lot of these black artists touring around the country breaking these Jim Crow laws because there were white people who wanted to go see him, and they didn't want the white girls dancing with these brothers. So brothers were going to jail in the 1950s because of rock and roll. They were actually going to jail for this music genre that they created. Something that they were calling nigga music and devil music, and rock and roll is so evil. And there was an anti-rock movement that black people had to get the brunt of. You understand? And now that it has become acceptable, now that the Mick Jaggers and the Beatles, when they got on it, all of a sudden it's a brand new craze. You see, they've been doing that. Even with hip hop, man. With hip hop, it was the black artists who created it, and then the black artists had to take the brunt of the negativity. And even during the creation of it, um, black folks setting up shop in the Bronx, black folks getting stabbed at their parties, black folks getting shot at their parties, black people getting their equipment stolen, black people having to sneak out on poles to plug up electrical equipment, risking going to jail to make this culture what it was. And then going into the 80s, you had people like Eazy-E, Ice-T, these people being investigated by the damn FBI because of their lyrics. It was black people who had to endure that. And then once everything become mainstream, everybody wants to come and pick and salvage off of the leftovers as if they were there at the beginning. No, I'm not giving anybody credit who wasn't there. And it was foundational black Americans there taking the brunt of all of the negative energy to create this culture that everybody can love and enjoy now. You see, we have to stop all of that nonsense, and that's very important. So now, going back to the Latinos, they keep trying to latch them on to hip hop culture because everybody knows that hip hop is foundational Black American culture, and they see that we are campaigning for tangibles. They see that we, as foundational Black Americans, we want some damn tangibles from our political structure. We're not going for the kumbaya stuff no more. We're not going for the minority and the people of color. We want things specifically for us. And now that they see that we are demanding tangibles and we are not getting off our square, what they want to do now is tether on Latinos onto us hard body to make it seem like we've always had the comparative struggle. That's why they're going after museums, they're going after the music culture, they're going after the economic structure. They're trying to make everything about Latino culture comparative to Black American culture. This is why they keep trying to tie them into slavery now. That's what the museum thing is about. That's why they're getting a section in the museum for Latinos, because they're going to try to find some black folks who were enslaved who had Spanish last names to say, hey, look, see, Latinos were right there on the plantations with you guys. Y'all better see the goddamn chess game that these people are trying to play on us. Y'all better see the chess move they're trying to play. So now when we finally kick the door in for reparations, guess whose hand is going to be out there first? Well, I black too. I negra. I negra. You understand? The Latinos going to have their hands out now. Look at some of the dialogue that's happening on Twitter. There's some Haitians up here talking about they're supposed to get some reparations. And understand, Haitians are classified as Latino. Do y'all know that? A lot of folks don't get that. I want y'all to understand that they were bragging about this on Twitter. I think today, look at some of the threads. They were on Twitter bragging, hey, we Haitians are actually Latino. People don't really realize it, but we're Latino. Haiti is a Latin nation, which is true. Technically, Haiti is part of Latin America. It's on the island of Hispaniola. It shares the island with the Dominican Republic. That area is technically a Latino area. So many of them do identify with Latino culture, you see? And now you have some Haitians up here talking about, well, we should be getting reparations just like foundational Black Americans because, well, the US, they came and occupied Haiti and took all of our gold reserves and all that. So we should get reparations too. Now, if you want to talk about who you need to get reparations from, how come you ain't getting no reparations from France? You ain't saying nothing to France. You know why? Because we ain't there fighting France. So y'all got to go stand behind us. The people who really owe you some money, who've been robbing you for the last 150 years, were the French. Y'all been breaking them off a bag every damn year. That's who you need to be hollering at. That's who took your money. But see, we foundational Black Americans are not going after the French. We're hollering at the US government. So they know where the energy is. So a lot of people see the direction here. They see how focused we are. So they're trying to get in front of this reparations thing, family. This all ties into reparations. They see that we're locked and loaded. We're laser focused on getting our tangibles. So now they have to attach themselves to our culture more than ever now. Did y'all see the thing where French Montana, they had an article talking about he's the first artist, the African born artist to go diamond because of that song Unforgettable or what Unregrettable. I forgot the name of the song, but he did the song with Sway Lee. It's really Sway Lee's song. I didn't even know French Montana was on the song. I thought that was just Sway Lee's song. I had no idea. And Sway Lee is a foundational Black American. I think his family's from Mississippi. That's Sway Lee's song, but they're giving credit to French Montana. You understand what I'm saying? And most people forgot he was on the damn song. This is what I'm talking about, how they can erase you. They latch on and tether to you and then erase you from your culture. This is a chess move that they've been doing, family. That's why they got DJ Khaled out here. DJ Khaled, what he does is get a bunch of features with a bunch of artists over here. DJ Khaled does not rap, nor does he really produce. Those records are produced by other people, but he gets credit for it. He just screams, "We the best." And then he gets all of the praises and the accolades for it. You see? See, we have to understand how certain people are put in positions and why they are put in positions. This is to erase our culture. And whenever we start getting or supposed to get compensation from the aggrievements that we've suffered, they get these other groups that we've sat here and co-signed and say, okay, we're going to compensate aggrieved groups. Let's start with them. Since you guys love them so much, we love them too. Come on, Latinos, let's compensate you too. So we better understand when these people are playing these moves on us, and we better wake up and stop being naive and not wait until the last minute. See, we got this thing where we wait until the danger is right there at the door before we do anything. And that's a big mistake we make. We got to nip stuff in the bud early, even before it becomes a thing. We got to nip it in the damn bud. Man, we got a lot of folks in here. All right, let me get some folks in. Let me get some people in here. Let's get Angela Bryant in here. Let's get Angela Bryant. What's up, beloved?
Hi Tariq, how you doing?
I'm
I
good.
just had a couple things to talk to you about. Thanks for allowing me up to speak. I don't know if you're on TikTok a lot, but speaking of guarding your culture, it's this woman, and she was on TikTok, and her cat scratched up her couch, and she found some hair in it, which I know is our, our ancestors' hair, and it really gives me the creeps. But she's wondering what she should do about it, and I get really irritated when I see that because I really want to just go in her house and snatch it up, and take that from them, because it just irritates me that they have our possessions like that and don't want to like release them to us. They even have slave records that they don't want to give up. And I think it's
Right,
because
right.
of the reparations movement or whatever. But she,
Let me address something. Because I've seen video where they had like chairs that look like it has hair in it, but that's not really hair. That's from certain trees. When we're down in Louisiana filming, we're filming buck breaking down there, and we were on plantations, and there are these trees that they use. These trees, these real old trees, and the leaves. When they fall off, they get real brittle and they look like human hair. And they use these to stuff pillows, and they would use it for wall installations. So yeah, that's hair from certain trees down there. Let me get my brother Dwan B in here. Let's get brother Dwan B. Dwan B, what's up, brother? Hop on and speak.
Hey, what's up, man? I was gonna be real quick. You talk about the consequences when it comes to hip hop. Man, I remember I was in middle school and high school. We remember the shift in LA when we went from starter jackets to wearing polo and Hilfiger.
Yeah,
That came because when we were children, being hip hop cost you. If it didn't cost you by the police, it literally cost your GPA in school. We would be in school seventh, eighth, ninth grade when we were wearing hip hop type attire. If you were black wearing that, the teacher would look at you a certain way. So many black children paid the cost in their grade point averages and what they had to deal with in school being black and hip hop. So LA had to switch up and
yeah.
start wearing Hilfiger and polo just so we can get up under that stigma. And now here they come trying to claim our stuff when we dealt with that. Come on now.
Real talk, man. Great point. And also, man, back in the 80s out here in LA, when remember hip hop, it was fashionable to have those four-finger rings. Remember that? We would wear those four-finger rings, and I got arrested wearing one of those rings because a goddamn race soldier used the "I'm white and I say so" logic on me and said, "Hey, well, you got on brass knuckles." I said, "These aren't brass knuckles. These are hip hop rings. This is what's popular." Well, now they look like brass knuckles to me. So we're gonna arrest you and cite you and all that. So yeah, we had to deal with the brunt of this bullshit. That's why I take the shit real personally because I was out there in the '80s dealing with the negative stigma that came with it. Don't tell me about no mythological Puerto Rican from somewhere who didn't contribute nothing. No, we were dealing with this stuff. You understand? So yeah, it's very offensive. Now that everything is cool in the gang and mainstream, everybody wants to come and lay claim to it. They want to colonize it. No, I got a major problem with that. Let's get Brother Sonny in here. Brother Sonny, hop on, brother.
Peace, brother Flex. What's going down, family?
I'm good, man. How are you,
I'm
sir?
doing pretty good. I'm gonna be real quick. This is why it's important for us definitely to delineate and to guard our culture. Another trick bag that people are using right now is uh, the black black owned restaurants. I'm out with my family. We trying to find a black owned restaurant, and it's actually Jamaican, Haitian, and things like that. So I think that's something we definitely need to look out for as well.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thank you so much, brother. Respect to you, Sonny. All right. All right. What's up, Wani? I'll see you down there, beloved. All right. Let me get a media assassin. Let's get media assassin in here. And then we get Baba Baluchi in here next. But media assassin, what's up, brother?
Blessings, brother. First, I'd like to say we've created the most influential culture on the planet. Okay, I mean
Yes.
worldwide, bro. And if you look at some of the things that we've allowed this to happen first and foremost, man,
Yeah.
by letting people impede and take over our culture, and it's from all aspects, whether it's people moving into our neighborhoods, selling, Koreans selling fruits and vegetables, bodegas popping up in our neighborhoods, from our women's hairstyles, from cornrows to our brown skin women's full lips. They've tried to recreate what we do at every level. I mean,
Hmm.
Tariq, if you look at James Brown, right? They gave us Elvis. We gave them New
Yeah.
Edition. They gave us New Kids on the Block, right? And if you even look at what you're talking about now with hip hop, there's a narrative going now that Eminem is the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I once saw a magazine with Iggy Azalea and Eminem that said the king and queen of hip hop. And
Yeah.
these rappers are following suit, giving them this.
Yeah. And let me, I had to land your plane there, brother. But yeah, that ties into that whole thing where Harry Styles, they're calling him the king of pop. And remember, they did the same thing with Justin Timberlake back in 2003, calling him, is he the new king of pop? They've been doing that stuff to try to replace foundational Black American legends, but they don't do that to the people like Elvis. I talked about that the other day.